We're hitting a workout today and answering your most pressing questions about prepping for Special Forces assessment selection. Let's get it.
3, 2, 1. Go. Can you train rucking without actually rucking?
Yes and no. You can get better at rucking. Like you can support your performance in rucking by doing other movements, by doing work capacity, by building your systemic strength, but you're not going to get better at rucking without ever rucking. You have to ruck. Typically, we like to see guys rucking every other week when they're first starting out. Once they get their run times down and are a little bit more competitive, switching to every week or even bi-weekly, or twice a week is a solid move.
2, 1. I live in a city and I can only ruck on flat ground. Is that okay?
Yeah, you can still get better at rucking on flat ground. You can also include some incline treadmill walks. You can include some weight vest stair climbers. You can work on elevation doing other things. But if you only have flat ground, you can still be fine, still get a lot of ruck stimulus and still drive up the conditioning that's going to support your performance. I would just supplement with things like incline treadmill walk, stair climber, to make sure you get that elevation gain and you get that GPP or general physical preparedness movements to work through that fatigue and get the power development.
How can I improve in pull-ups? Doing 15 strict and need at least 18 reps under fatigue.
So if you are at a plateau with your pull-ups, the biggest mistake I often see guys make is just going out there on a daily basis and doing pull-ups for max reps. You need to have some sort of structure. A structure will set you free. A structure is going to help you break that plateau. So instead of doing them every day, you can do them 3 to 4 days per week and mix up the type. So one day you do weighted pull-ups, another day you do variation pull-ups like 1.5 pull-ups or circle pull-ups. Another day you do pull-ups for volume, so maybe you do an EMOM style, and then maybe one day that's when you actually push the higher rep ranges. But if you vary it, have a structure in there, eat well, sleep well like always, then you can break that plateau and see your numbers climb.
Pull-ups or push-ups? What one do I need to train more?
Most people need to train pull-ups more. It depends on the person. Sometimes taller guys with longer arms struggle with push-ups more, and it needs to be their focus. But pull-ups, objectively speaking, have a bigger strength requirement, so they usually take a little bit longer to develop than push-ups. So for the most part, guys need to train or focus. I wouldn't say train more, but focus their pull-ups more. But you can train both, 3 to 4 days a week and still see really good progress with it.
1, let's do it. If I am struggling with my running, but my rucking is doing amazing, should I only focus on running or should I still keep rucking in?
You should still keep rucking. We want to still keep up the conditioning, especially like foot conditioning, muscular conditioning, but you can lower the intensity and the volume of the rucks. Maybe do it with 35 pounds so you have less fatigue out of the sessions, maybe lower down the mileage, and then use a little bit more of that bandwidth towards running. Kind of like what I talked about, you can go to every other week rucking, still maintain that conditioning, while you open up a lot more of that weekly bandwidth energy-wise to drive down those run times, which will support your rucking. If you get faster at running, improve your conditioning, improve your power in your legs, your speed, it will help you push down your ruck time. So don't think that lowering the ruck volume in the meantime to drive up run times is going to hurt your performance overall.
I'm tired of just doing strict pull-ups to try to get better at them. What other exercises can I do?
Lateral pulls. So all of our training, we like to include what we call essential movement patterns. 2 of the essential movement patterns that's going to help with your pull-ups specifically is the vertical pull and the horizontal pull. So in addition to doing pull-ups, the varied pull-ups like we talked about, we also want to be including those lateral pull movements, the bent over rows, the gorilla rows, the movements that are going to help build that mid-back and that pulling power, which is all going to support your ability to pull yourself up on the bar. and your ability to carry a ruck. Because posterior chain strength is one of the biggest supporting elements of being able to move well under a load and perform when weights are heavy.
What's the best prehab / mobility that I can do for rucking?
Knee stability and hip stability. Kind of the things we talked about with TKEs. I didn't show you guys today, but a lot of the like glute medius, hip stability work, like the airplanes, like Copenhagen drills, like single leg work, this is all going to drive up that knee, hip stability, a lot of core stability work, which we can drive up with the big compound movements. That is all going to support your recoverability and resistance to injury, especially when moving under a load and carrying a pack. That's why I talk about, like, with my selection prep, even though I came from a strength background and got away with it because I did, going to just straight calisthenics, objectively speaking, was a big mistake. And it developed weaknesses in my chain that if I were to continue that for
3,
a long career,
2,
it would
1.
have detrimental effects.
What is the #1 question you get asked for prepping for selection?
Ooh, what does my training split need to look like?
What is your training split?
Well, it depends on someone's background. Someone who has a little bit higher strength background, they can go to 3 days a week of strength. So 3 strength sessions. I like to do full body sessions. With those sessions, I also pair some low impact, high intensity conditioning. And then for somebody that comes from a running, more endurance style background, 4 strength sessions a week and drive up the strength that's gonna improve their ability to run. So a lot of guys, I always talk about this, but one of the biggest mistakes guys make is stacking a bodybuilding plan. It's like a 6-day push-pull leg split and then just throwing running on top of it. It's just, you can only make progress with an amount of volume that you can sufficiently recover from. So if you can't recover from it, you're not gonna see the progress we need.
I've never really shot guns before going to the military or selection. Will I be okay?
You do not need to know any tactical skills or know how to use a firearm prior to going to selection. You should know basic safety, everybody should. I encourage guys to train on it, but like, you're not tested on any tactics at selection. That is taught to you way later on. Some in the Q course, pretty much all of it once you get to a team. So if you're like going out to the range, buying a bunch of ammo, thinking that that's going to help you get selected, it's not. It's great to learn. I encourage you guys learning it, getting the skill up, getting the safety measures in, but it does not help you get selected. I came from an aviation background. So I was a aircraft structural repair when I went to selection. 0 tactical background. I didn't know anything about small unit tactics or anything like that. You're not graded on it, you're graded on your traits.
What is one thing you wish you knew before going to selection?
I wish I knew more about knots. Objectively speaking, I was not good at tying knots. I had that short prep. The recruiter told me about the water knot and basic stuff, but I just didn't understand the application. And when I got to team week, I felt like I was so far behind because a lot of guys on my team knew exactly how to tie the knots, exactly how to put the apparatus together, and we relied on them pretty heavily. So I just carried weight and filled in where I could. But if I was somebody who could tie knots and knew and would have put a little bit more effort into that in the front side, I would have been one of those guys that was more of an asset to my team inside a team week.
What is the most important thing to know going into selection?
Everyone knows you got to be fit. Everyone knows you're going to be expected to find points in land nav. You're going to be expected to work as a team. But I would say the most important thing to know before going to selection is that you cannot control anything but your attitude and your actions on a daily basis. If you start overanalyzing your performance, the mistakes you made, and convincing yourself that all of the work that lies ahead is not worth trying to do because you already made it up in your mind that you're not going to be successful, you're going to talk your way out of it. So if you're still there, you still have a chance to get selected, and just focus on the one thing that is immediately in front of you. And by the end of it, you'll still be standing in formation outside the building, ready to find out if you got selected or not.
Why should I listen to you over other training programs?
I think you should listen to the guy who you resonate with most. I think I have a lot of experience in helping guys. You know, there's 3 types of mentors. There's the guy who had never done it, but he says he helps people do it. There's a guy who has helped people do it, or there's a guy that has done it but has never helped people do it. And then there's those that have done it themselves and they help people do it. So when inside of our thing, inside of Infinite Grit, is not just my experience. We have other Green Berets, we have strength coaches who have been doing this for 2 decades. Like I'm not just up here leveraging my experience, I'm leveraging the entire team. But at the end of the day, I recommend going with the person and believing the person or following the person that you resonate with most. Because if you resonate with the individual, if their ideas resonate with you and it helps you put one foot in front of the other and go take action towards your goal, then that's the entire intent of what we're here. I'm not for everybody, but for those that, you know, do resonate with me and those that have helped, you know, we've done a pretty good job, I think. Oh shit.
We're done.
What?
That's 15.
Oh,
we're done.
15?
Yeah.
That was too fast, dude. I was actually having fun with this. This is a good little workout.
Why are you the face of Infinite Grit?
Why am I the face of Infinite
You just
Grit?
got the prettiest face out of the whole coaching group.
I talk about this a lot. Like, I wasn't like a special Green Beret. Like, there's Green Berets with way more experience than me. There's Green Berets kind of like you and I talked about. The reason we don't talk about a lot of combat stuff is, you know, I don't feel right about it, because there's Green Berets who have gone on 10 times more combat deployments than I have, seen 10 times more firefights. Like, there are some very experienced Green Berets. So the thing that separates me from other Green Berets that get out is I just did it. I went out online, I researched, I started writing, I started coaching. When you start coaching, you start learning what the problems are, you start finding the solutions to the problem, you start gathering information from all those that you send to selection. So I have all that data and a team on the backside. So I don't view myself as like some special Green Beret. I just view myself as someone who raised their hand to help the guys that are going into that environment. Could other Green Berets get out and do the exact same thing? There are other Green Berets doing the exact same thing. Yeah, but like I said, it's like who you resonate with most and whose ideas or whose methodologies help you get the end result. And if you get the end result, then at the end of the day, that's really all that matters. Appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comments for a future video or hit me up on Instagram. If you guys are prepping for selection, whether it's Special Forces selection, RASP, Ranger School, or one of the federal agencies, we have a link down below if you want to learn more about our coaching and what we offer. Go check that out. Other than that, appreciate you watching. We'll see you in the next one.